everyone, today's quick video tutorial is about how to make this little flower on top of this gift box. We made this in Stamp Club for the last night of our June club, and the reason we made it was that I didn't think of this flower myself. Apparently it was shown at the Stampin Up Melbourne Regionals in 2011 by someone named Miriam, and I got inspired because the lovely Felicity Fernandez sent me a gorgeous gift box with one of these flowers on the top. And I showed all the ladies in my stamp club and everyone said, oh, we have to know how to make that. So I searched everywhere for a tutorial online and I couldn't find one. So using Felicity's little example on the top of the box that she gave me, I reverse engineered and tried to work out how to get it together, and this is what I came up with. Now, I'm not sure if this is how Miriam makes her flowers that she puts on the top. If anyone does know of a link to her tutorial, then I'll be happy to share that on my blog as well. But for the meantime, I just want to share with you how I made this flower, and they are so easy and they're a little bit addictive that I've actually started making a few more of them for little gift boxes and things in all sorts of different colours, and they are super easy, so I'll show you how I go about doing it. So to make the flower, you need 3 2 3/8 inch scallop circles and one of the 1 3/4 inch scallop circle. You can leave the smudging off around the edges, but I think that it actually adds a nice touch. So these are pool party ones because I've got a little pool party bag that I want to put a flower on, and I thought I'd video how I do it. And I've sponged around those just with some crumb cake ink. Then for each of the 4 petals, you want to scallops, sorry, you want to make your own little petals. And how you do that is that you take a pair of paper snips and you want to cut between every second scallop in the valley. Now, a lot of times when you're cutting wedges for different bits and pieces, it's hard to kind of get your wedge pieces exactly even and not have them all sort of run into each other and have skinny and fat wedges. I'll share the tip with you that I use to make sure all my wedges are the same size. You guys probably know this already, but I'll show you anyway. So what I do is I imagine that I'm going to cut my scallop circle clean in half. So I line my scissors up through the valley that I want to cut into, and I head towards the opposite point. Of course, we're not going to cut it right in half, but we're going to cut it pretty close to the middle, like that. Then every time I turn it, when I choose the next valley that I'm going to cut into, I head straight towards that other opposite edge, like I'm going to keep cutting straight forward. So if you keep rotating your scallops and head directly opposite you, like you're going to cut it in half, your wedge pieces actually turn out the same size and are all evenly spaced. So that's just a tip. You guys probably already know that, but I used to struggle to have my wedges all even and never knew how to do it. And I worked it out. So once you've done that, you'll need to do that for all 4 of your scallops. So the 3 large ones and the small one as well. So they're all done exactly the same. And the treatment that you do on them all is exactly the same. So I'll show you on the large one because it might be easier to see. So what you need is your scallop smudged and cut. You need your Stampin' Mist spray. If you want to, as an optional extra, I've got some shimmer paint mixed up with some isopropyl alcohol here to give it a bit of a glinty, shimmery look. And I'll see if I can show you on this one. You can kind of see it. It's a bit sparkly, and that just adds that shimmer to it. You can of course leave this off if you don't want to as well. The shimmer paint is basically the Stampin' Up little tubs of shimmer paint that you get. This one is frost white, and all I do is I put just a smidge in the bottom of my atomizing jar, and then I just fill it up with a bit of isopropyl rubbing alcohol. Now there's heaps of different brands, you don't have to get this one. This is the one I always find easy to get in my grocery store, so I grab that one and then fill it up to about halfway. When I tell the girls about making this up, I always say that you're better off making a weaker batch, so more alcohol and less paint, because you can always go back and spray another layer and another layer till you're happy with the depth of glimmer on it. But if you make it too concentrate and you spray it, it tends to get splotchy and you get blocks of colour. So weaker is always the best method for that, and the alcohol evaporates off. So that's always good to have done up in a little jar. So you'll need those items. And the last item you will need is a weapon of your choice. Something that's got a bit of a rounded end to it. So there's a bit of a skewer there. I've got a paintbrush, and then this is a piercing tool with a round end to it. And basically all it is an item that you've got that you'll have laying around that's got a nice cylindrical shape to it that we're going to use to shape our petal. Okay, so I'm going to use the paintbrush. And then what you have to do is you get your scallop circle, give it a bit of a spray with the Stampin' Mist. Now all that does is moisten it up, and you can already see that it's starting to curl and curve. Okay, so while it's wet, what I do is I go around to each one, put my object that I'm going to use to curl with, and I'll show you a bit closer so we can really see what I'm doing here. Put that right in the center of the leaf, of the petal, and then wrap one side and wrap the other like that. Give it a bit of a hold and pull it out. So work around every single petal on every single scallop circle that you've cut. Now the only difference is that with the large ones you'll do 2 in this exact same fashion, so curling the petals up, and you're spraying on the edge that you've smudged. If you are smudging, the spray goes on, and that's obviously the side up that they come, so you want to spray your Stampin' Mist on that side. And the Stampin' Mist, because it is a cleaner to clean our stamps, it actually runs the little bit of the ink that you've smudged with, which is fine. It gives it a nice little, bleeding the ink into the cardstock, which I think looks quite good. So put them aside to dry. Now you'll do 2 of your large ones in this same way, where you're curling the petals up. One of your large ones, you want to flip it over on the non-ink side, and you want to flip your petal, you want to roll your petals downwards. Does that make sense? Hope so. You're basically curling the petals underneath, like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do all that really quickly and show you what I've got when I finished. Okay, so now you'll have all of your petals pre-curled. Let me put this one back over the right way so I can show you. Zoom out a little bit. So you've ended up with 3 large and 1 small, and 2 of your larges have got the petals curling up this way, and 1 large has got the petal curling underneath, and then your little one has also got your petals curling up. Now at this stage you don't have to add the shimmer mist, you can just go straight ahead and finish the process off. If you do want to have a bit of shimmer, this is the time to add your shimmer mist now. Now I'm going to bring in a spray booth, which is just a Stampin' Up ink container. So I'm just going to put that off screen a little bit so as not to get in the way. Oh, actually I can probably show you what I do with this. It's all a bit messy here, sorry guys. But basically what I do when I want to spray things, I always put them in this little booth. That's why it's so shimmery and gold. So put your petal in there. Make sure you give your shimmer mist a bit of a spray to get all the hard paint off the bottom. Give it a shake, and all you need to do is a few atomizers over the top of your petal, and oh, sparkly, pretty. And do that for each of them. You don't need to, once you've shaken it once, you don't really need to keep reshaking it. Now this one, the 3rd large petal, remember we're spraying that. The petals are facing downwards, but we're spraying on the same side we've smudged, because that's going to be our upside. And our last little guy, give that a quick shimmer. Beautiful. Excuse me. Ugh. Be careful to do it in a well-ventilated area, because the rubbing alcohol can get a little overwhelming, guys. Okay, so now what you've ended up with is your 4 petals, or 4 bunches of petals, all shimmery and pretty. I don't know how well you can see it. So now you could leave them to dry, I suppose, but I find using the heat tool to do this, to crunch them up, works really well. So I'm just going to use my heat tool and give these a bit of a blast, and as I go around heating them, guys, I sort of hold up the little curls to sort of set them. Now just be careful, because it does get a little bit hot. So you might want to sort of use a tool to do that, but I kind of get used to holding it myself. Now I'm going to do this in fast forward and just so you don't hear the heat gun going. Okay, so here we go. Okay guys, so that's them all heated and they're all a bit more robust and a bit kind of what I call crunchy because I've kind of gone back to paper now. So now you've got them all dry. You've got two big ones crunched upwards and the little one, and then one of these large ones crunched downwards. So now what you need to do is in the smallest one that you've got, you just grab a paper piercer and put a brad in the center. So whatever brad you want to use. So for this one I'm using an antique brad, but the glimmer brads look gorgeous too because they've got that sparkle to them. And then you want to just open up the brad at the back. Okay, just so the brad only goes through one layer. Get rid of that. And then you need to, for your 3 large ones, you want to put a dimensional in the center of each of those large ones. Like that. Okay, so then starting with your one that's curled downwards, do you see what I mean by curled downwards? The petals go down. Take your cover off your dimensional that's on there. Grab another large petal and you're going to stick this on offsetting. So like that would be lining your petals off. You want to sort of twine them so that they are all offset. So I'll put this first one down in there and then just push down in the center. Okay. Take your next dimensional off, cover off, not the whole dimensional of course. Take your next large petal and offset that one as well on the top. Give it a push down in the center. Take the last dimensional cover off and get your little one with the brad in it and offset that one. Now they start to get a bit crunchy and a bit high, so you have to kind of give them a good push down. But you want that because you get that nice height to your flower. And ta-da! How pretty is that? They are just awesome to make. And look, I apologise, Miriam, if this is not how you do yours, and I wasn't at Melbourne Regional, so I didn't get to see. That's my best guess at how they come together. At any rate, these are so easy to make, and you'll absolutely enjoy making them. The last thing you need to do is to put it on your project, and let's see how it looks on my little handbag. Okay, so this is the handbag I wanted to use it on, and I'm just going to put it down in this corner here, and you need to give it a good squish down because you've got all that foof holding it up. So beautiful. So I hope you give those a go guys, and do check out Miriam's blog. I'll have a link to her blog on my my post that shows you the original, where the original idea come from. But hopefully that tutorial will help everybody, and we'll see lots more of these gorgeous flowers around. All right, thanks for watching.